Welcome back. Q&A, Friday. Fanmail! Lovely. The weather here is cold and damp, but it is improving. There was actually sunlight today, though I didn't go out in it. Wish I had, but I didn't. And I am finally getting back out here into the shop more and getting stuff organized. Pandemic, this whole time has not been good for me. I've spent most of the last 2 years here alone, and it's not been good. But I'm finally getting things cleaned up, organized. There will be some interesting videos coming up on my storage solutions, because if you've been following what's been going on here, I have acquired an obscene amount of blasters from people who have just decided to get rid of their collection and gave it to me. And I had nowhere to put it all. I had no storage solution. I did not have the storage capacity for the blasters that I was getting, and I hope I do now. We shall see. That's going to be a whole series of videos, probably. Yeah, things are getting better. Things are improving. I'm looking forward to hopefully going to events this year. The first big one is going to be Brick Cascade in Portland. Sergeant Deplorable and I are taking our fleets down. We've both built more ships. I just laid down the keel for a 54-gun ship of the line. My 104-gun ship of the line is very nearly complete. He's working on a 50-gun ship of the line, so it'll be interesting to see the build differences between his and mine, because I'm pretty sure they're going to be real different, which is going to be cool. There's a couple of HVZs, actually a bunch of HVZs I'm going to. I don't think any of them have been formally announced yet, so I can't give you any of the details on that. Once they are formally announced, then I will be announcing which ones I'm going to and my plans for that, and how you can get involved in all of that. So stay tuned for all of that. Let's answer some questions. Melons away! Are there any plans to bring back story time with Captain Xavier anytime soon? Yes and no. I'm not planning to do story time the way it used to be done. Instead, I will be doing after-action reports with Captain Xavier. So when I go to these big events, there will be a video where I talk about what happened. And there'll be footage, hopefully, if I remember to ever actually turn a camera on when I'm at one of these events. Yeah, it'll be what happened, what went on, what's going on, what things went well, what things went wrong, all of that. Should be interesting. That'll be kind of what takes the place of the old story time with Captain Xavier. The Cabal guy. What is your favorite sports team? I don't... are the Brooklyn Dodgers still a thing? I think those guys are bums. I don't sports. Definitely Natox. 1. If you could have one World War I weapon in Nerf form for a Larp, what would it be? A German trench shovel. 2. You've mentioned in one of Walcomm's old videos on your Drain Blaster shotgun that you strapped a 30 cal machine gun to your ATV and drove it through downtown Cottonwood. Good times. Do you remember what kind it was? It was a Browning 1919. I borrowed it from the Sergeant Major Kyle. Jonathan Sprague. What is your definition of life? I don't put a definition on life. The definition has changed a great deal. I know I believe when I first learned the scientific definition back in school, I pointed out that by the definition at that time, fire was alive. Because it grew, it consumed, it reproduced. It could die, it could be born. And then I seem to recall sometime after that they changed the definition to require that it be made up of cells, one or more cells, which at that point it then excluded viruses. Viruses didn't, well, I think they were excluded before because they don't actually consume resources in the way that we do. We need things to fuel. They just kind of float about. They do reproduce and all of that, but yeah, it's complicated, and there's things that appear to be alive but don't by the current standard definition, and yeah, there's also the question of sentience. At what point would computer programs or robots become sentient and be alive? And the problem with trying to define the point at which a robot becomes sentient is that we haven't yet defined when a human becomes sentient. Is a 1-year-old sentient? Do they really understand? Is a 2-year-old? At what point can you truly say this child has attained sentience? I've met adults that I'm not convinced were sentient, so, you know, it's a tough one. Amajiki909. I'm slowly getting back into D&D. Any tips on how to create a charismatic vampire hunter character? Well, most of my experience with D&D has been 3.5 and Pathfinder, so my advice might not be entirely applicable, though 5e seems to be very similar in a lot of ways to 3.5, but kind of retooled a little bit. Step 1, of course, is going to be don't make charisma your dump stat. You're going to want to put a lot into your charisma. If you're fighting vampires, you're also going to want dexterity. Strength, maybe not so much. Wisdom's probably a good one. Intelligence might be one that's lesser, and strength potentially lesser, depending on how you want to go about it. I would recommend crossbow. Getting a specific crossbow designed for fighting the undead, either with Undead Bane or the ability to crit undead or what have you. For the class, there's a lot of options. I mean, you could go with rogue or ranger with ranger with favored enemy undead. You can go with rogue if you can find, again, the abilities or the feats or the items that'll let you backstab the undead. I don't think in 3.5 I don't think you could. I know in 5e I believe you can. There were magic items, of course, in 3.5 that let you backstab and crit the undead. Paladin is also not a bad option because you get smite. Yeah, there are also in 3.5 there were no end to prestige classes. I think there might have actually been a vampire hunter prestige class. There probably was. Yeah, that's what I would go with. You could definitely do some fun stuff. Race is going to be another interesting one. There were races that got bonuses to charisma. Half-elf, I believe, gets a bonus to charisma. You don't want to be a dwarf because they get a penalty to charisma, or at least, again, they used to. I'm not as familiar with, like I said, with 3.5 or with 5e as I am with 3.5, but yeah, there's a lot of options. A lot of options. Josiah Mayfield. What kind of story would you write for an HVZ, and what kinds of specials would you include? Oh, that's a good one. The two most enjoyable ones that I think I was involved in, as far as pure HVZs, they had one where it was caused by magic, and another that it was caused by a virus. And so in the one, we were trying to figure out who the necromancer was so that we could hunt them down and kill them and end the plague. And the other one, we were trying to find clues for who started it and then try to find the MacGuffins to be able to create a cure. And ultimately, I think we succeeded in killing the necromancer and ending that plague by the skin of our teeth, and the humans thoroughly failed to end the one that was caused by science. Either of those. I really like when there is a very clear storyline that leads to a potential human victory. Now, it's entirely possible that the humans will screw up along the way, and by the time they get to the final, there isn't actually any hope. But I like that there should have been an option. I don't like HVZs, or I'm not as much of a fan of HVZs where there is no possible human victory. Though if that is the case, I want to know it up front. If we know that going into the final fight there is no victory condition, this is just a last stand to see how long we can last, I have no problem with that. A desperate last stand is fun, but it's more fun when you know that that's what you're going into. If you think there is a hope and it turns out there wasn't, that's annoying. But either way, it's setting your expectations is very important, and making sure your players are aware of that. So I like stories where each mission builds on the next one, and that there is a very clear path towards a potential human victory. I like it when the zombies also have specific missions that are separate from just kill as many humans as you can. They're also trying to do things that give them the super zombies. I do like hive minds or spawn point zombies. Tank zombies are a fun one. They're a simple enough mechanic. They either have to be hit, you can make it so they have to be hit by larger ammunition, mega or up, or they take multiple hits. I've seen tanks done both ways. I've also seen tanks that couldn't be killed. They were just stunned in place for a couple of seconds. That works as long as you don't have missions that require the humans to hold a fixed location, because it's impossible to do so when there's no way to stun the enemy. Unless there are clever ways of doing it. Never been a huge fan of spitters, zombies that have ranged attacks. Pool noodle zombies, those ones are fun, just because they have reach and that can be amusing. What are some of the other ones that I've saw? The list of super zombies goes on and on and on. So, but I like simpler ones. And I like some HVZs I've been to, every different special zombie was very specifically marked, and you could tell, you could easily identify what kind of a super they were. I've also been to HVZs where the supers were not marked at all, and I didn't like that. But I've also been to ones where they just, super zombies just had a red headband instead of a green headband, and so you knew they were a super, but you didn't know what kind, and you had to work that out. And we knew what kinds of super zombies existed. We just didn't know which ones were which. And that's okay, because you're like, okay, well, we'll try this. Okay, it wasn't melee. Okay, we'll try a thrown weapon. Okay, yep, there, socks. Socks is what take out this one. I like that. I went to one where they were experimenting with, you had no idea which zombies were super, and you had no idea what their abilities were. And that one, the whole mission lasted about 5 minutes, and the humans were wiped out. There was just no way to be able to figure it out fast enough. But it was an interesting experiment, and it was kind of fun to be in. It was just like, yep, nope, I have no idea what's going on. Gonna die. So yeah, there was a rambly answer. I hope you got an answer in there somewhere. Where was I? Flying Spur 99. How or in what scenario would you implement vehicle-mounted high-capacity HRR blasters like Tyr or a potential Nerf-propelling Blastech T-21? Which, for those of you who don't know, is built on the Lewis gun. It would need to be a really controlled environment, because the risk of running somebody over or hitting somebody would be bad. So it would need to be a situation where that isn't as much of a risk. It might be possible to do it at Afterworlds, though I don't know that I would ever try. They do have golf carts there. I do want to eventually armor up my golf cart into the most ridiculous-looking APC ever. Maybe if I was running a war and I could set it up so like there were just drive-bys on the sidelines that weren't in play that were just firing into the field. It would need to be a really controlled environment so you didn't accidentally hit anything. Because even with a golf cart, if you run someone over, it's going to ruin their day. It might not, do any permanent damage, but it also could, and it would definitely ruin their day. So, yeah. Eskilde Haagensen, what is your opinion on Larp? Larp is cool. I do all kinds of Larp. HVZ, in my opinion, is a form of Larp. Pretty much all Nerf is a form of Larp. It's not the full characters lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt level of Larp, but it is a role play. We are pretending to shoot each other in a battle. That's a form of role play, in my opinion. And HVZ, we're pretending to be humans surviving an apocalypse against people pretending to be zombies. I don't know how much more LARP you can get than that. And then I've done things like Afterworlds, where it was full-blown, with characters and classes and storylines and lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt. Train! There are no trains at Afterworlds. So I like LARP. LARP is cool. And what is your favorite Spaceman chapter? I'm pretty sure I've been asked this a bunch of times. I don't have one. None of them are particularly, yes, that's the one I like. Those guys are cool. No, they're all cool, and they all have their flaws. How dare you? Jackalblade 9. Have you managed to get your hands on the Dart Zone Tomahawk by any chance? I haven't. I've seen one, but I don't own one yet, as far as I know. There might be one in a box here somewhere, and I don't even know it. There's a lot of that going around. Modding Wizard. 1. If any blaster company were to re-release a discontinued blaster of your choice, what would you choose and why? I would go with the Ultimator, because I want more of them. 2. What is your favorite country that you have visited? France! France! And I will return someday. Ireland was a close second, though. The food was so good. Ha-ha! Oh, too high. Alex McPherson. 1. Now that the LEGO UCS-AT-AT has been released and is guarding your study, it is. I've got a diorama built and everything. What LEGO UCS size set would you like to see released next? Oh, ooh. I've been dreaming of a UCS AT-AT for so long. That's the only thing I ever really wanted, and then it happened, and now I don't know what to do with my life. A Victory-class Star Destroyer. I'd love to see a Victory-class Star Destroyer. Dash Rendar's Outrider, but I don't even know if that's considered canon anymore. Have they done a TIE Defender? I know they did a Lego TIE Defender. I don't know if they did a UCS one. Cloud City? Cloud City would be a fun one. Question 2. In Gremlins, a Mogwai cannot be fed after midnight. Is that time zone specific? Well, if it isn't, then you just can't feed a Mogwai because it's always after midnight somewhere on Earth. That's also the question I always had is, after midnight, but before when? They never actually specified that because, again, it's always after midnight. I assume sunrise because that tends to be how magic things work, but sunrise varies wildly as well. But it's magic, so it doesn't have to make sense. But yes, I would assume it would be in the time zone you are, and it has to do with the relative position of the sun rather than your clock. So, that's my thoughts. Atticus! What are you wanting to see from the Nerf Dragon Power line? I don't want anything from the Nerf Dragon Power line. I don't have any of them yet. I have no plans to get any of them. I think it would be cool if they made a Strife variant, though. I might actually get that just because that would be a neat-looking shell. Rex Regum. What's usually the way you replenish your electrolytes out in the field? Powerade. I keep Powerade on me as well as water. We also usually have chips and pickles standing by at our staging area because salts and the nitrates from the pickles are very good for you. I'm being stalked by a puma. Hopefully I shall survive. Woomy Nerfs. What are your opinions on atheism? Yes, let's get into the serious philosophical questions. I believe that true atheism, where you believe there is no higher power, there are no higher beings beyond humanity, requires a larger illogical leap of faith than believing in a god does. Because to believe that there are no higher powers requires you to prove an unconditional negative, which logically and philosophically speaking cannot be done. You cannot prove that nowhere in the universe is there a god because you just might not have found him yet. He could be standing next to you and you just don't have the ability to perceive them. There is no way to prove that it isn't there. Now, conditional negatives you can prove in some situations. But I think there's also, it's an important distinction that there's a difference between not believing in God and believing there is no God. That is not the same thing. Being a-religious and being atheist are different. So that's my thoughts. Zach Leek. Have you tried combat archery? Oh yeah, I did that for years in medieval recreation. That was my primary loadout. I had a dozen combat arrows over my shoulder. I was quite good at it. I had a really nice set of combat arrows. Yeah. Autumn Eule Nishoba. How large a lever would you need to move a transphasic boulder in the time stream? At least 2.5 light years. At least. Do you have an interest in boat building? Well, I build a lot of Lego boats, but actual boat building, no, because I don't own any water. I don't have a large enough area, or I mean, I could go to the ocean, and there's plenty of rivers in this area, but no. The Sergeant Major has built. He built himself first a dinghy, and he was building a 30-foot riverboat. I don't know if he ever finished it. Probably not, or I would have heard about it. Thin Hugs. Do you play any tabletop war games, and do you have any advice on how to get into a game on a tight budget? If you listen carefully, you can hear the sounds of millions of tabletop wargamers laughing at the idea of getting into it on a tight budget. I don't currently. The closest I ever played was the Pirate Constructible card game that WizKids came out with for a while. Had a lot of fun with that. I still have them in a trunk somewhere. But I don't currently know. I don't play Warhammer or anything like that. I do have friends who do, and I've been told it can be extremely expensive. It can also be cheap if you are good at thrifting, because people will occasionally sell their collections for their armies for far less than they paid for them because they've gotten out of it or they've moved on to another one. So occasionally you'll see them on things like Craigslist or eBay or various places where people are selling them for cheaper. You can also always go to your local gaming store if you have one and see if there's anyone looking to get rid of an old army. So there are ways to do it. There are always ways to find cheaper ways to do things, like, you know, thrifting in Nerf. I mean, you can spend an awful lot of money in Nerf, but you can also get into it and have a lot of fun for a fairly limited budget. So yeah, good luck. Lance J. Which discontinued LEGO theme would you like to bring back? Pirates, Castle, or Wild West? Ooh, I would have to flip a coin between Pirate and Castle. I want a full Pirate and Castle line again so bad. I would spend so much money. We haven't had one in a long time. The closest we had were Pirates of the Caribbean and Lord of the Rings / Harry Potter. Both kind of had castle fantasy themes to them, but they weren't quite there. In the last couple of years, they've given us the Barracuda Bay and the 3-in-1 pirate ship, and then they gave us the Blacksmith Shop and the 3-in-1 castle. But those aren't full lines. They're not. They don't have everything. They're like, okay, we got the pirate ship. Where's the Imperial Guard? Okay, we got a Black Falcon castle. Who are they up against? You're like, you're right there. Just do it. Just give it to me. So either of those. Wild West, nah, not for me. World War Nerf. Do you plan on bringing back featured fan builds? No. That, as somebody already commented down below, that has been taken over by Andy Verk and is the Show Me the Modded Thing series now, I believe. He's doing wonderful stuff. He's got, I think he's doing it better than I ever did. Do you allow people to send you special blasters painted in your colors for you to put on your wall? Definitely not asking for any specific reason. Oh, absolutely. I love getting blasters that are painted in my colors. I mean, half the things on this wall were sent to me by people, and they are, of course, in my colors, and I love it. Puma. Puma's on the run. And for the first time, I have a third page, because this last question took a whole page all to itself. Matthew Yoho, in the hypothetical scenario wherein you find yourself opening a box that is, in the main, filled with yet further 40k books, by which I of course mean the extremely literal scenario that is not even slightly hypothetical. You're getting more books, sir. The only question is when this year that would happen. If I would recommend next month, because it's my birthday month. But when you open that package and find that in addition to the books also contains a purity seal of the sort that you can wear or attach to your gear or hypothetical Space Marine armor, because it's a pin, what sort of purity seal would you want it to be when these are the options? It's a really long-winded way to ask what kind of purity seal would you like. And I love it. 1, the Imperial Aquila. 2, a Cog Mechanicus. 3, the symbol of the Ultramarines. 4, the Black Templar's Cross. 5, the Retro Skull. 6, that Puma up to something? What are you up to, Puma? 6, the symbol of the Blood Angels. 7, the symbol of the Dark Angels. 8, the symbol of the Inquisition. Or 9, the symbol of the Adeptus Sororitas. I would go with 4, the symbol of the Black Templar's Cross, with the symbol of the Inquisition being a close second. I actually have a Purity Seal pin around here somewhere. It was on sale. But yeah, Black Templar's Cross. Definitely. Aha! A hint! Take that! Right, there actually is a sizable amount, a good amount of loot today, and I think a bunch of them are books, so I'm excited about that. So, to the swag! Right, let's get to the package. We have some little ones. I'm pretty sure are books. Oh, indeed, what do we have here? Dean R. Kuntz, Dark of the Woods. Fly natives, for vicious humanity is coming. And Dean Kuntz, Soft Come the Dragons. Is this 2 books? One, they are. It's 2 books, one upside down on the other. That's pretty cool. Someone is clearly desperate to change my opinion of Dean Kuntz, and I wish you the best of luck with that. I mean, I will read it, eventually. And perhaps I will change my opinion. Perhaps. What do we have here? Prisoner of the Devil. Sherlock Holmes faces his most difficult challenge in a brilliant new adventure. Cool! Author of The Revenge of the Hound. So it's essentially this is Sherlock Holmes fanfic, because it's not written by Sir Conan Arthur Doyle. I dig it. Very cool. Very cool. I do like mystery novels. What do we got here? We got all of them. It's A Taste for Honey by H.F. Hurd. A very clever thriller. What do we have here? In a quiet village in English countryside, Cindy Silchester lives a reclusive life led by two passions, privacy and honey, giving up the former only when his stories of Sydney is a he. His stories of the latter run low. His stores of the latter run low. But when his honey supplier is found stung to death by her hive, the search for a new beekeeper keeps Sydney and Mr. Mycroft, a brilliant man who has retired to Sussex to take up precisely this occupation, and who shares only traits with a great many traits with a great Sherlock Holmes. Interesting. Oh, so this is another Sherlock Holmes novel. Neat. Oh, that's cool. Was there a note? Nope. Not that I can tell. Whoever's responsible for these, you're awesome. Ew. The Master and Margarita. I have no idea what's going on here. Nothing in the whole of literature compares to The Master and Margarita. One spring afternoon, the devil, trailing fire and chaos in his wake, weaves himself out of the shadows and into Moscow. Mikhail Bulgakov, fantastical, funny, and devastating satire of Soviet social combines two distinct yet interwoven parts, one set in contemporary Moscow, the other set in ancient Jerusalem. Well, that sounds fabulous and weird and awesome. It's a really cool book looking, too. There's a smoking cat and a crying lady. I have no idea what's going on. People making noise. Awesome! Awesome, awesome, awesome. I love getting books. All right. Let's open a package. We have one here from Adam Burke. Could be anything. It's... no! The notes! Made a run for it! Come back here. Note. Greetings, Cap. Merry late Christmas and happy late New Year. Wanted to send you a few gifts to start off your 2020 on the right foot. In this package, I have included the following. A 1994 Tyco Air Thunderstrike what now? This seems to be rather rare blaster, so I hope it's something you needed for your wall. The blaster functions, but the tube is brittle, so don't expand it out. I included some balls to test it out as well. Also in this package... I'm being pumaed again. Also in this package is a coin reference book to help familiarize yourself with the value of your collection. I'm a big numismatist, so I love getting others into the hobby. Finally, some Skittles for your consuming pleasure. As always, keep doing all you do and keep the amazing content. Adam. Well, that is awesome. Ooh, United States coins. Well, that is fantastic. I will definitely have to look up. I've got a few old ones. Some old pennies, some old dollars, some old buffalo nickels. I will definitely have to look them up and see the value. That is pretty amazing. Thank you. Very, very cool. 74th edition. Good Lord. Skittles. And... ho! I did not know that this even existed. Lost the ball. I have the larger rifle version, though I don't have the tube. This acts as a hopper. And yeah, I won't expand it because, as you say, it's probably very brittle. But that is amazing. I did in fact need this for the wall, though I didn't know I needed it for the wall because, like I said, I didn't know this existed. That is pretty cool. Early flywheel blaster. That is amazing. It's also from the year that didn't have a lot, so this will help fill out the wall immensely. That is awesome. Thank you very, very much. It's always cool when I get blasters that not only did I not have them, I didn't even know they existed. The Bungee blaster was an example of that. I just got that one, so yes, yeah. What? Power Strike 48. I did not know they had their own darts. Do they all have tubes in them? They all appear to have tubes in them. Well, that's awesome and amazing and fantastic. And was that even in the note? Did you sneak this in while I wasn't looking? Sir, how very amazing of you, sir. That is awesome. Thank you ever so much. That is really cool. Skittles. Sour Skittles even. Oh, very nice. Very nice. All right. Next package. We have a long, skinny one here from a D. Bergen. Fragile. Yes, it's Italian. Open this end. Okay. I will endeavor to do so. Goodish lord. Good lord-ish. Aha! A brain saw! Nope, this is a crosscut blade. I like these for melee. I've got a bunch of them. I actually recently just took the blade off of a crosscut. Ooh! Skittles, Twix, York Peppermint Patty. All of my favorites. All of my favorites in a single bag, sir. That is fantastic. We've got, ooh, a Big Bad Bow arrow, a Blazing Bow arrow. Very cool. Double strike. Modified double strike. Very cool, very cool. Oh, another blade. Was that a note? Aha! I have found the note. Handwritten letter, pages are numbered. Read first, loot later. Too late! All right. See if we can figure this out. Page number, the first one. Dearest Captain, first of all, I'd like to say I hope this letter finds you on a good day and in good health. It does. I've got a bit of a headache all day, but I think I just need more food. Or at least as best as it can be. Well, pretty much. Also hope the weather in your area is pleasant. It's cold and damp, as mentioned before. If it isn't, I hope it gets better for you. One can hope. Secondly, I'd like to ask a couple of questions, which are as follows. What is the age gap between you and your siblings? Well, I've got 6 siblings. 7? 7 siblings. No, I was right the first time. 6 siblings. I'm the 7th sibling. My older sisters are a year and a half older than me. They're twins. My brother is 4 years younger than me. And after that, I'm not sure. Honestly, I should, but I don't. I believe there's 18 years between me and my youngest sister. So, there is that. Did the gnome ever make a quilt out of my personal insignia? I don't know that she has. She is making me a quilt, and it might have that pattern in there. I'll have to ask her. Are you able/willing to have guests come to the makerspace? Not quite yet. Probably by summer I will again. It's currently cold and damp, but I'm hoping by the summer to start hosting larger events. We will see the state of the plague by then. Obviously this is peak plague season, as it will be from now on. It'll be cold, flu, and COVID season for probably ever. But summer should be better, so we will see. This next part is related to my third question. I asked guests coming to the makerspace because I would like to visit the makerspace sometime in 2022. Preferably at the start of summer, if possible. This can be discussed further privately. Yes, reach out to me privately. We can discuss it. My summer is filling up fast with events and travel, but we will see. Now, this next part will be hard for me to write about, but it is a serious matter, and I feel you should still know. So apologies in advance if any of the following comes off as offensive and or disrespectful, neither of which is intended. Removing the following from the video if you feel the need to. Well, let's take a look. Don't be discouraged would be my thing. And by all means, reach out to me and we can talk, especially about coming to visit, because that is definitely something that could happen. And would also be a way of getting yourself perhaps slightly higher on the list. All right, let us get into this package. We have a rackety thing. I dig it. Is it Nerf? I don't know, but it's in my color. What else is in here? What do we got? Is that it? I think that's it. That appears to just be packing material. Yep, packing material. We have a thing. It appears to be a book. It's a book. Awesome. Yes, a book. A book. I will eventually get to the book. It is it Zombie versus Unicorn? Zombies versus Unicorn. Well, I have absolutely no idea what's going on now. It's Zombie versus Unicorn. Well, that is awesome. Black versus Larp. Fabulous. You filth. I don't know what's going on, but it's got the line, you filth. And therefore, I love it. Well, that is just cool. That is just awesome. I love getting books. Books. All right. I have one final package, and that is going to be this one. This is, of course, from the inestimable Daniel Dillman, and we have a note. Grocery list. Hey, Captain. I had to get a printer. I need to get a printer at home. I hope you are doing well. Picked up Lego from a Facebook Marketplace deal. The guy was super nice and gave me a deal on it. I hope you love everything. I'm gonna. The mask is from the 6999 Lego. I don't know what that is. Set, in case you were wondering. I spotted it back on Halloween section at Goodwill a few months ago. Hope you are staying safe and enjoying yourself. Dan, Halo fan, Sprecher Drinker, Lego Sorter, Patreon, Sub, Thrifter, etc. Lego! I've been sent happiness. Oh! I had this set, and I like it. I might wear this at the next Nerf War as my eyebrow. That is awesome. Stop. Got a thing. Ew. Lego Jello molds, I assume? Chocolate molds? Some kind of mold. Those are awesome. I will use them for chocolate. Oh, goodness Lord. Oh, there's a shield. Oh! Oh, the mouth opens up. That's cool. I did not have this one. I had the opposing one, I believe, but I didn't have that one. I definitely never seen one with a holographic. That is awesome. What do we have here? It would appear to be that set, which I don't think I had. Who knows if it's all in here? We're gonna find out. Because I'm gonna build it. Oh, there's a small package. What do we got? What bag? Mint! I got a bag of mint. York peppermint patties, Tic Tacs, and spearmint gum. Most excellent. That is some vintage goodness, sir. Most excellent. As always, you spoil me, spoil. All right. Well, there you have it. Another fantastic day of loot. I thank you all. You spoil me. I appreciate everything. and thank you for watching.